Take it away, JB.
What's good, family, and welcome to another episode of Jimmy Bond's podcast right here on WPEB Radio, 88.1 FM, 95.1 FM, West Philadelphia. What's good? What's good? We are back. We are back for another show, another time. We are continuing our voting project, Every Voice, Every Vote, West Philly Voices. I love this. This is the voting season right now. Remember, vote November the 5th. Please do. Make sure you do that. Make sure, am I right, T?
Yeah, you're right.
All right, that's what I'm saying. But I can't forget my co-host, my man Tati. Why was good? How you feeling?
All good in the neighborhood, JB. Live from the 215.
Live from the 215. I can't forget my other co-host, Miss Lady T. What's up, T? How you doing?
Hi, fellas. How you doing? Thank you for the red carpet and the flowers. I appreciate them.
You get bouquets of them, mama. Bouquets of them. Remember, family, you can call us with your comments or your questions at 215-472-0881. Again, that's 215-472-0881. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. Also, family, always follow us on Instagram at Jimmy Bonds Podcast, on X at Podcast Bonds. And make sure you join Jimmy Bond Podcast Facebook group. Let's continue to open the dialogue. Moving right along, family. Tonight, we have a special guest. So happy to have her in the building to talk about what she does in the voting initiatives for the organization she works with and getting the vote out. And, as I said before, this is voting season, so it's always good to educate the voters. It's always good to give them more information. But tonight we are joined by Miss Emily Gale Austin from Supermajority. What's up, Emily? How you doing?
I am doing amazing. Excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me onto your podcast.
Oh, no. We're so happy to have you. Listen, we're honored to have you in this one. But let's go ahead. Let's talk about Emily a little bit before we start. Y'all ready?
Okay.
Miss Emily Gale is Supermajority's Pennsylvania lead program manager. She leads our Pennsylvania voter outreach and volunteer programming for the state, helping to win change for a supermajority of voters who share the same values. Emily is on a mission to transform the lives of 1 million individuals, igniting positive change in her community and beyond. Her purpose is to empower the voiceless, cultivate leaders within neighborhoods and communities. And while she often takes the lead at events, Emily is committed to shining the spotlight on others. Emily, welcome to this show. Let's give it up for her. Let's give it up for her. Let's give it up. Let's give it up. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
Well, we're doing this voting initiative, and every voice, every vote, West Philly Voices. And the more that we do it, the more I find that there's some people who are well informed. There's some people who are not well informed, and I think that as we move closer to election day, there are things that people don't understand or don't really register. Even the common voter, the voter that just, that already registered. Some of them are, some of them aren't. But, see, I was going to go into a diatribe, but I want you to ask the first question. Go ahead, Lady T.
Okay. First, I would like to say, welcome, Emily, to the show. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you, Lady T.
No problem. Now, I listened to how Jimmy described you, and I would quote you as a superhero. But if somebody asked you to describe yourself, what exactly would you tell them?
I'm just an everyday person that I like to empower people to empower themselves to lead. I see joy when I see that aha moment in other people. Like, I can do this. It took a long time, but I had to believe in myself before believing in others. And now I want other people to have the voice. That's why I'm here. I want to be able to train. I want to be able to teach. I want to be able to help and connect. I don't really have one word that describes me. Except for Queen.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Queen.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
I can dig it. Ty, what's good, man? I know you got something.
Emily, today is Wednesday. Can you tell us about Superwoman Wednesdays?
I can. Super Women Wednesday is it's with our national team at Supermajority, and they either are doing phone banking on a national level where anyone can dial in and get on Zoom with our team, and they will train and then make phone calls. Or sometimes we have a series. We just in August had a majority leader series where it is panels of experts talking about different subjects, mostly our majority rules, based off of our majority rules. So every Wednesday there's something going on a national level, and that is virtual.
I can do it. But this is kind of my question. You hear a lot of times when you're at events or just slogans on TV that this is the most important election in our history of a country, right? I mean, beyond the slogan, why would you say that this is the most important election we have coming up?
I personally would say it's the most important election coming up because there has been a threat of, especially with women, of our rights and our freedoms being taken away. It's been happening slowly, but it's happening. It's happening. And if we don't make our voices heard and get to the polls and then hold those people that are elected accountable, we're going to end up not having the change that we need to have.
I mean, it is an important election, and I think that it's vital because so many of our freedoms that I'm gonna say we took for granted, so many of our freedoms that we have been taken away, and
Yeah.
more than anything else, there's more being taken away without us even recognizing it. I look at the fact that a lot of us don't focus on affirmative action and why that was important, or even right now, the most prevalent one is abortion and why the right to have an abortion should be up to a woman. Um, and because your organization focuses on growing the woman voter or growing this demographic that you focus on, what are some of the concerns that you hear or some of the concerns your team hears when they're out canvassing and knocking on doors? What are some of the concerns that these people have in the community?
Well, when we're out knocking on doors and talking to women, that is a big issue. Roe v. Wade being taken away, and how people are recognizing that they took it for granted, didn't take it seriously,
Yeah.
and now, when going to the hospital, there are issues. You know, and honestly, I could tell you a personal story from when I had my first child that kind of fits in this category of not being taken seriously. Like, I almost died when I had my daughter, and it's because, the hospitals weren't listening to me. Um, they didn't want to take seriously the fact that I knew there was something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I flew when I should not have flown. I was preeclamptic,
Mm.
and my blood pressure was high, and I flew to another state. I don't remember anything for those few days that I was in another state, and I came back. I called the doctor and said, I was so blown up that I could not even wear clothes. They told me to put my feet up
Mm.
and we'll
That's
see
really
you the
serious.
next day, right? And then when I got there the next day, of course, then they realized, oh my gosh, we're surprised you're still alive, you know? So back to,
But
Women's
let's not
rights.
gloss over that real quick. This is what happens to a lot of women that look like us, right?
us.
That they don't listen to what we tell them, whether you can be super educated or just a common folk that graduated high school. They don't listen to us no matter which way you go. And now they really don't listen with abortion in place because doctors are afraid to
Lose their jobs.
lose their jobs or they're threatened. It's the
Yeah.
intimidation factor is crazy. And the thing about abortion that baffles me is that the majority of it is men making these decisions. That's the craziest thing.
Mm.
So Whenever I think about abortion, I'm always like, okay, so why are you a part of the conversation?
Let me tell you, we have every Tuesday, we have weekly updates with Pennsylvania members. And a couple weeks ago, we had a mother and her daughters were on. And her daughters were like 8 and maybe 10, and we were talking about this issue. And near the end of the conversation, so innocently, the 10-year-old says, "Wait a minute. So who's making these decisions for us, men?
Yeah.
How?" And she was so confused and so sincere. I'm like, how is that even possible that men are that people who don't know us, that don't represent us, are making decisions for us?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was powerful.
Yeah.
That
I
was
mean, because
powerful.
that's as simple as to a 10-year-old. That's a simple understanding of it. Well, why are you making decisions for us as women? That doesn't make any sense. And I mean, it's across the board, but it just seems that that was actually planned, and
Mm,
it was orchestrated. That's how he got elected in the first place. And I'm not going to say
mm,
who he is. Of course, we know who he is. That's how he got elected, because they wanted these things to happen. They wanted
mm,
these policies to go into practice. They never
mhm,
think about the ramifications of the policies. They only think about what their, I guess, their moral goal is. And
mhm,
as Americans, I don't think you can live on morality. You have to live on purpose and principle. And morality is just, I guess, what you might feel like being moral is not what someone, it's not reality for some people. So, I always say they blanket it with just, the Bible. They use the Bible as reasons for everything, but that's just actually sugarcoating over what really the sinister thing is and beyond it. And, I never thought that it would come to this, but here we are.
mm,
Here we are.
mm. And that's why, that's why super majority, and one of the reasons why it is such a privilege and an honor to work with supermajority is because we organize off of a set of values, right? Our lives are safe, our bodies are respected, our work is valued, our families are supported, and our government represents us. And these 5 rules, if and when, not if, when these rules become a reality, the world will be a better place. And when we were talking about the abortion issue, when we're talking about problems in the hospital, when we're talking about how, our government doesn't represent us, we're talking about our values and basically the mission of supermajority, to organize under a set of values.
Yeah, I can believe it. Go ahead, T.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes.
Considering how important your job is, have you ran into any kind of dangerous situations?
So I honestly, I no. No,
Okay.
I haven't, but when you say dangerous, like um
There's some crazy out there.
yeah, there is some crazy stuff out there. And I feel like right now we are in the Strawberry Mansion area. And I'm going to tell you something. I feel safer in those communities than
Mhm.
I do knocking on doors in the community that I live in,
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
right? Because people look like me. And
yeah,
I'll tell you, community is stronger in the close knit inner city or suburban areas than
yeah,
it is in this area, in the rural area of Pennsylvania. We do always train people to be aware of your surroundings,
yeah,
Okay.
especially out in the streets. Watch out for the dogs, step back from doors, knock on a door, but then step back and get down on the step, and listen. And always, if you're not feeling comfortable in a situation, then don't do it, right?
Okay.
That safety is the most important piece.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
yeah. Now, I mean, I do have friends that have been in other organizations that have dealt with some very difficult situations, and I would not wish that on anybody.
I mean, I think that's a critical question though,
Yeah.
because in
Yeah,
today's
it
age, I
is.
mean, what did they just took another shot at him? Well, they didn't shoot him, but let me correct that. There was an attempt on Donald Trump's life
Right,
not a couple of days
right.
ago. And no, what are you gonna say?
No, I was going to say, what helps is, identification. So we have supermajority when we're out canvassing here in Pennsylvania. We wear pink, a lot of pink, and we have clipboards so that people know that we're not a threat. They may not want to talk to us, but we're not a threat,
Yeah,
right? So that helps. I'm not going to go plain clothes to a door with just like something in my hand that's not identifiable. I make sure I see the Ring doorbell. I'm talking about me, supermajority. I have my literature right up so they can see,
yeah.
so I'm looking a little more approachable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I was wondering was, you're from a rural area or area that's
Hmm.
not an inner city per se, but Pennsylvania is a swing state,
Hmm.
and it's a major swing state. It's actually, you can throw Georgia and North Carolina, not North Carolina, but Arizona in there based on the last election, the last presidential election, that is. But Pennsylvania has a lot of power within this new election cycle. And you being the director of the program in Pennsylvania, what have you seen, within this swing state? I mean, I think I read somewhere that something like 80,000 votes was what swung the last election, and now it's even more important that we get the vote. We get the vote out, because that 80,000 could dwindle down real quick if we don't get out and vote.
Right. And that's why we're in the get out the vote season now, because in Pennsylvania, women are 52% of the majority. So we are the supermajority here in Pennsylvania alone. And if every woman would go to the poll and vote based off of their values,
Yeah,
we wouldn't be a swing state. We really wouldn't.
what you think, T?
I'm just saying, she has a point.
She does. She does. And
She
it's
has
a
a
swing
great
state.
point.
The old saying about Pennsylvania, you grew up in PA. So, they say on the West Coast, you have Pittsburgh. On the East Coast, you have Philadelphia. On the West Coast, or in the middle, you have Alabama. That's the old saying. And, I
They,
always find Pennsylvania interesting because I think when you leave the inner city areas and you go into the middle of Pennsylvania, we talked about a culture shock before we started, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
hmm
it's a real culture shock for some of us when we leave these areas. We're like, oh, what are we doing out here? And
Horse and buggy.
yeah, but I don't think people really, because we live in our bubble naturally. I don't think people really understand that about Pennsylvania itself. It's that it's a big state. B, it's even big in ideology and political support, or political, which way people vote. And
hmm
you being a director, can you talk about that? Just the aspect of that of Pennsylvania being just a different monster by itself.
Yeah, I think that, let's talk first. Grassroots organizing is one of the most challenging but rewarding jobs there are. Um, Pennsylvania is a beast, and you have to develop relationships. Otherwise, you go into a community just for an election season, people are going to be like, you're just here because you want something from us. You don't care, right? So it takes a long time to develop trust to be able to even talk to people.
Yeah,
Um, and I think that's something that is quite when starting out with a new organization and or with a new program in an area, instead of saying, here we are, look at us, we're looking at like, how can we empower other organizations that are here as well? We have tools, but what can we do to work together to make the area stronger?
Yeah.
Um, it's hard because, like you said, we've got the Philadelphia, we've got the Pittsburgh, and then we've got the in between. And it always seems like the in between is what is kind of left unsaid and unfocused on. But
Yeah.
that is like the major piece that we need to work on, because that's where the votes are coming in.
Yeah.
Those are the
Yeah.
votes that could be swung.
I mean, and but talk about that. You talked about you made one key word that you said was building relationships. And
Mhm.
you know, as a grassroots organization, I think a lot of times we do think though they just want something from us as you
Mhm.
know, regular constituents and voters. That's what we think. Yeah, they just want something from us around election season. And it don't matter. But talk about the process of building those relationships and why that's so vital, not just in terms of supermajority and what your organization does, but even in terms for candidates to build strong relationships in those communities.
Well, it's important, to build the relationships and then stay within the community. You don't make promises that you can't keep, right?
Yeah.
And when you first enter a community, for example, we're new on the ground in Pennsylvania. Supermajority's been around since 2019,
Mm.
and our sister organization, Supermajority Education Fund, that does a lot of the research that we work off of, has been around that long as well. But this is the first year I've been on the ground since February, right? So it's actually kind of like cold calling and saying hello, walking the streets and just smiling at people and just getting to know people, attending meetings and listening. Active listening is more important than giving your opinion when you're developing these relationships, because if you don't know who you're talking to and understand their stories, how are you going to be able to give any kind of tool for them to empower themselves to even increase their skills to be able to empower others and
Yeah.
vote, and
Yeah.
get that education to vote. So, I start by getting into the community, and talking to people. I truly believe that, being a woman of color, being Black, that we need to utilize Black-owned businesses and support our
Mm.
own community. So we
Mhm.
actually have, I'm not sure if you've heard of MYB North. It is a co-working space on, what is that, Lehigh Avenue. It's on the corner of
Mind
like
your
Lehigh
business.
Avenue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is that what you
yeah.
said? Yeah,
Mind your
mom. Oh
business.
no,
Your
we've
business,
definitely
yes,
heard of mine. Your business. Shout out to Miss
yes,
Morrison.
Yeah, Miss
Shout out to Miss
Tanya
Tanya
yes.
Morrison.
Morrison.
Shout out to
The G
Tanya.
the G that we know,
Um,
right?
we love Tanya. We are actually renting space from them, um, and working out of that space because Tanya's amazing, right?
Yes,
And we
yes.
want to uh, help grow her business by being there as well, right?
Yeah,
That's a relationship. And through Tanya, I've met some other people and continuing to expand those relationships. The big thing is I can guarantee that 2024 is only our beginning. And yes, though this presidential election is important, and yes, we are pushing people to make a plan to vote, get out to the polls. We're going to have poll party,
see,
and days of
see,
action.
see. Wait a minute.
See?
Wait a minute. Let's go
See?
back a second.
Yes, yes.
You said poll parties.
Yes.
Yeah,
Isn't that what I said we
yes,
need to do?
Yes.
Isn't that what I'm always saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's get the people together, have a poll party,
I'm
because
with you on that. Let's
I,
plan.
let's plan it. I mean, I would love to party on election day.
That would be so good.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you who I'm going to vote for or nothing like that, but I think we all should just celebrate the fact that we have the right to do this. You know what I mean? And when before we didn't, And I mean, I love poll parties. I mean, I love a party. You know, I love a good party anyway. Too, like we're gonna party.
I
Let's go
think,
party.
yeah, poll party. And in Philadelphia, they have early
Yeah,
voting parties, right?
yeah,
So, getting involved with those and those actions and working together and collaborating with other organizations,
definitely.
Black Voters Matter. There's some other groups within the area that I'm trying to get to know so that we can come together and actually just have some parties. I call them parties, but it's education, voter education. We could have down ballot guide because it's not just the president that we're voting for.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'm glad you mentioned that
and
too.
yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned
Um,
that because that's something that I think that was one of my questions is how important is the down ballot for people to be educated about what's in the down ballot, even the candidates that are on the down ballot. What are some of the things that you feel are vital about the down ballot?
well, I think that where we live is where we can begin to make the difference. So the down ballot is more important in in my personal opinion than the well, it's not more important, it's equally, let's say, equally important as a presidential race.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, people say, well, what does the president do for me? Okay, but what could your state rep do for you? What could a judge do for
Talk
you?
about it.
What
Yeah,
could your city council do for you? What could your
yeah.
mayor do for
Do for
you,
you.
right?
Yeah. What could your school board do for
And
you? Yeah,
what could your school board do for you,
yeah,
right? That's where we need to um start to start to pay attention more, right?
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if you've ever listened to Yellow Pain. It's an artist. He's an artist. I think he's out of he started in Ohio, but he has a song that from quite a few years ago, but it still matters, that My Vote Counts. If you guys listen to that rap song, he explains it in so many words, what the down ballot is and that people need to be paying attention to that. And it just
Yeah.
gets it to the point. It's like one of my favorite songs
Seen the
during
video.
voting season.
Tasha, you seen the
Yeah.
video?
Seen the video.
You've seen the video?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. He very intelligent with that song. Um so yeah, developing relationships is the key.
Yeah,
Voting is the key. Local elections is even more important. When I
definitely.
was down in Philly the other week, and in the Strawberry Mansion area, there was just an election on Tuesday.
Yeah, it was.
Were you guys aware of that?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was aware.
But talking to the locals, a lot of them weren't even aware that there was a primary election and that there was a special election just for those two districts, right? For especially Donna Bullock's district. I think that's the district I was in at that point in time. And I'm
Yeah,
like, you guys need to check your voter registration. Let's check it, and try to get to the polls. Just even though he was not contested, it's good practice. You'll know where you're at. You'll know your voter registration is good, you know. And then you can learn more about whoever else you want to vote for, right?
yeah. That's key.
Anyway,
Yeah, go ahead, T.
Okay, so I have a question, or I'll throw a scenario out there.
okay.
I'm a black female Republican voter. How do you convince me to become a Democrat?
Oh, I don't. I
Yeah,
convince you to, can you hear me?
I
yeah,
can.
yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why my computer just said I wasn't doing anything on it, so I apologize for that.
I know we got you loud and clear.
Okay. Um, okay, so I am not one to convince you to change parties, but I am one to convince you to look at your issues, look at the values, and then look at the candidates' values and decide if you agree honestly with their values and do they align up with your values? Vote on your values instead of your party.
I love that response
Yes.
because that should be the way we all think.
Right.
You know, we shouldn't vote party. We should vote
Do your
values.
homework.
Right. Of course, do your homework. Know who you're voting
Do
for.
your
Right.
homework.
But a
Yes.
lot of times because Democrats bleed blue and Republicans bleed red, and I guess independents bleed white. I guess that's what we do. Or green or whatever. I
Whatever.
think I think that sometimes I think that sometimes we have a tendency to just go for our team. If we was playing sports, I mean, Todd's a Cowboys fan,
Ooh.
and he just
Oh.
he loves supporting the Cowboys because he just supports the Cowboys. Even when they wrong, he still support the Cowboys. Like even when they do the wrong thing, they still support them. Like, come on, Todd.
I'm gonna pray for you because I'm not gonna say who I am a fan of. I live in an Eagle household, but
Go Birds.
yeah. I'll go Birds, but it's not that bird. But we're not gonna go there, okay? I'm a Raven.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I'm from
Oh,
DC.
thank
I
you.
could deal with it. I get it. I get it. Like
Okay.
it should be more. Okay. I gotta appreciate that. But that's what T was saying was right. It's not about convincing people to change parties or anything like that. Because if you notice now, some of the Republicans have endorsed Kamala Harris, and they see that her values align more with them than say Donald Trump's values align, or
Mhm.
not just Donald Trump, but really the Republican Party. What it's become, those values don't align anymore with I guess what they would say the quote unquote old school Republican, right? And I don't like to get into politics and talk about Republicans or Democrats or who's better or who's not, because at the end of the
Right.
day, they all have a job to do, is to take care and represent the people. So I think that we're in this era of choosing sides, right? And I think that can often become detrimental to our understanding of what democracy is, because we want to choose sides instead of, like you said, picking a candidate that has values that match ours. If you
Mhm.
support abortion, those values are something I match. If you're one of them people that's like, there should be no abortions, then that doesn't align with the values that that some people support. And
Mhm.
overall, if if we think that it's about choosing sides, I think we've already lost the battle.
Mhm.
I think we've already kind of pushed our chips in and the game is over, because then we're not thinking about what really aligns with us. Because some people, I feel like a lot of times with candidates, I might I might be progressive on some issues, and I might be conservative on others. So it's really about that person and that voter instead of Republican or Democrat. That's really the way I think
Right.
it should be overall.
Right. Right. One of the things is, supermajority, especially supermajority education fund, they did a lot of research and surveying of young women who don't vote or are infrequent. They told us that, 59% of the young Black women feel that economic well-being is their top priority, which
Hmm.
means they are concerned about everyday expenses. They are
Hmm.
concerned about groceries and quality childcare, right?
Yeah.
So look at those issues and who lines up, right? What is their scorecard, in the past, and what is their platform? Who lines up? It doesn't matter which party lines up with what your concerns are, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I went to your Supermajority's Facebook page, and I got
mhm,
educated on something I didn't know, was that as much as the Democrats, or our Democratic president right now, wants to implement some support for childcare, there's some states that actually mandated that the government provides childcare for government entities at least. And I think some of them states were red states, as they red Mississippi, Arkansas. I saw Maryland in there. I know Maryland's not a red state per se, but it kind of opened my eyes, like, oh, that's interesting. That's one of those interesting factors that you don't think about because you think, oh, they red states, they against everything progressive, but not necessarily, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, Pennsylvania is tough in that area.
It is.
My daughter, who is very well educated, has two young kids, a single mother, and she is working as a personal care assistant because she cannot afford quality daycare. So she has to make her hours when her kids are at school right now.
Yep.
So, that's not right. You can't find daycare. And when you do find daycare, it's too expensive to find daycare, right?
Who
So,
you tell?
so, but it goes even deeper than that. You know, how come the funding for daycares is not increasing so that the workers aren't getting paid enough to be able to train them well enough to do their job well enough, so the turnover is high, right? That's that continual cycle. We
Yeah.
need to change that. We need to
Yeah.
stand up more. Yes.
Does subsidized
Are you
daycare?
talking to me?
I'm just
Yep.
asking, does subsidized daycare not exist anymore?
It does, but there's a lot of stipulations within it.
Right. And I'm going to go off point here and say, subsidized daycare does exist. One of the issues I know, because one of my friends runs subsidized portion over here with the Community Action Agency in Lycoming County. One of the problems is people do not do the American census, the 2020, every
Yeah.
10-year
Every
census,
10 years, yeah.
but the yearly census, and put the right information in. So what happens is the federal government looks at these surveys and says, oh, well, there's no increase needed here.
Yeah.
And even though cost of living is going up, everything's going up, they're not giving the money. They're basing it off of those surveys. So, when the census comes around again, make sure people are doing that, because that does make a big difference in who's receiving that money.
It dictates where the funds go. So if the population grows, the federal government looks at it as, well, we have to allocate more funds in this area based on the amount of children that are being born, right?
Mm-hmm.
These children are going to go through the cycle of daycare, kindergarten, elementary, middle, high school. They're going to go through those cycles. So we got to make sure we provide some kind of substance of I guess, funds to sustain it. And if we don't, we're gonna lose out on not just taxes, but more along the lines. We'll probably have people moving out of these areas to other areas that'll provide childcare. I mean, people don't know. Childcare is stupid expensive. Okay.
Yes, it is.
You can pay right now. I'm going through it with I ain't gonna say who I'm going through it with, but right now, childcare is for my son is $175 a week. You know how long he's in childcare? 4 hours.
2 hours. Oh,
probably
okay.
4 hours. Two before he goes to half day kindergarten. I don't know. First of all, I don't know who decided that half day kindergarten was the right thing. If they go to daycare all day, why are they going to half day kindergarten? I don't understand it. I find it to be a super racket, because he should be in kindergarten all day, not
just like he's in daycare
right all day. You know what I mean? But if you don't have sufficient childcare, how can you work? Right?
To pay the child care.
But how you gonna pay the child care? And then when you work, the amount of money you're making can't pay that child care. That's a whole nother mortgage, rent payment, car payment, insurance, a whole nother cost.
Right. And here's the bigger kicker is in order to increase the amount of subsidy that the state, the local can give, they talk to like the daycares, the family daycares, the bigger daycares, and ask them to increase their prices. Yeah. But if they increase their prices, who can afford it? So they don't want to increase their prices.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's crazy. So back to, how this matters. It matters. Our voice matters. We need to get in there and have our local community attending city council meetings. And I know that's not easy. And it's time consuming, but these people work for us. So why are they having city council meetings that aren't able to be attended? Yes, without us.
Yeah,
you know,
we're the most important. We're the ones that put them in the chairs they sit in. So, like you said, hold them accountable, right? Hold them accountable. Ty, what you got, man? Hold on.
Go ahead,
I'm sorry, Emily. Go ahead.
I was going to say some more. I'm like, so that means, after 2024, what are part of my goals? My goals are in 2025, the people that have been active, our majority leaders, our members, our volunteers, I want them to be able to speak with me at city council meetings, up at the Capitol. Let's advocate for what we believe in our, based off, again, our majority rules, and let's make change happen. And that's what we have to do. And we have to continue to do it, and continue to do it and continue to do it. My job is done when it's over. Like when first of all, the younger generation steps up and takes over, right? I can sit back and say, yay. But until then, I'm here and I'm pushing, hurting the people to not hurting. That's not the right word. Yeah. Encouragement, connecting. Let's do this. Let's get out there and make change happen and just get in their face. I'm not going anywhere. You're going to see my face. You're going to hear my voice. I'm going to be there. We're going to be there. Supermajority is going to be there. Yeah. And we're here. And we're going to increase the women's voting block. We are going to increase the women's voting block, the young women, and women of color, black women, people that look like us. Yes, yes. They be like marginalized. They not. That's it. You can get me in trouble.
I'm sorry. I had to throw it in there.
It's okay. I love that song. But anyway. All right. Go ahead, Ty. I'm sorry. I got on a tangent.
It's okay, Emily. It's all right.
This is the tangent show. This is what we do on this show. We go on tangents. I'm sorry, Ty. Go ahead, bro.
It's okay. Speaking on the young women in voting, does Supermajority educate and prepare young women who are new voters or those that are about to become voters?
You say either or?
Yes. Do they
18 to 35. So, we do work with the younger generation. And actually, this is the year where, the 17-year-olds that are about to vote are very interested in what's going on and want to volunteer. This is the year that they want to be active and ask a lot of questions. Yeah. We, as Supermajority, we don't focus on voter registration as much, but we monitor voter registration, right? And we monitor the increase in voter registration, of course, after the switch in candidates for president. And we have over 161,000 new registered young women voters in Pennsylvania alone, right?
161,000.
Yeah, tell me. Now you want me to let me fact check myself here quick.
I think you're right.
Make sure I'm not wrong.
That's what it was.
Okay, all right.
161,000.
Yes. That's a lot of people we need to just talk to and say, hey, we're here. We're listening. What can we do to help you make an informed decision, based off, again, your values, and of course, supermajority.com. Go to there and you can see what our majority rules are and learn a lot more about, what we do. But here in Pennsylvania, we are on the ground, knocking on doors. We have quite a few days of action coming up. We also have every Thursday, we do a phone bank that calls into the low propensity, which are, new voters and sporadic, infrequent voters. We are calling all of these young ladies and women all over Pennsylvania just to say, what's your plan to vote?
Yeah.
What's your plan to vote?
What's your plan?
Do you
Yeah.
have a plan to vote? And if they don't, we can get them to the correct site. If they have questions, we're there to answer them. And in person, it's so much easier in person. I love to be in person because you can be
Yeah.
like, yeah, fill this out. Oh, let's go to the website and look to see where would you like. Oh, and the biggest thing you find is there's no time to vote. I don't have time. I work 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
So,
I mean,
what do we?
that's real.
That's
I mean,
real.
that's the response. I mean, you took that question from me too, because I was going to ask what were some of the pushbacks that you get when you're out there on the ground about voting. I ain't got time for no voting. I ain't
I
got
don't
to worry
got
about no
time.
voting. Man, I got to pay
Oh,
these
that's
bills.
not. Yeah. No, okay. So we can apply for a mail-in ballot. Yeah, we can
What's
do
the
that.
excuse?
And there's no excuse because if you get a mail-in ballot, you can then have time to research every single person on that ballot.
Yeah.
And there are coalitions out there that even our organization is involved in that actually has printed material, that has information on all the candidates.
See,
Might not be all of the information, but it'll have some bullet points, right?
yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
and
real.
you can't tell me that if you've got time to scroll Facebook, you've got time to double check, that candidate's website page or, go to just Google them. Is that if people Google
Yeah. People still
them?
Google.
Yeah.
We still Google. Yeah.
Yes.
Do we
I mean,
still Google? I'm
we do.
finding I'm getting old and my words are wrong.
Speaking of being more of the seasoned generation, I would say, because we're not old, we're seasoned. Okay,
Thank
let's
you.
make
Okay.
sure we change the
Thank
wording.
you.
Seasoned.
You know,
Well
you know what I mean?
seasoned, yes. Okay.
But what made supermajority? And before I preface this question, I think it's interesting that the demographic that you focus on, because even within, we go back in our history, civil rights era, um, from any time change was needed, it didn't come from the older generation; it came from the younger generation. And supermajority focuses on women in the ages of 13 and 30, 18 to 35 rather, and that's your target audience, as they would say. That's who you focus on. I'm sure it's broader. You do focus on more women in general, but that's something
hmm
that I noticed. 1835, that was a major voting block for you. Why is that age bracket so important?
They're our future. Do you not think so?
Oh, I
They
know
are
so.
our
Yeah,
future. Yeah, they are our future. And they are 18 to 35-year-olds are very independent thinkers. Let's take away the well-seasoned. Let's look in a world where it's just 18 to 35-year-olds. Honestly, would we even have political parties?
No,
yeah. I don't think so.
no.
No,
Yeah, we get rid of
because
it.
I don't.
They are
Yeah,
they're our future,
yeah,
right? They're our future. So they believe in what they believe in their values, right? And so they're looking at those values now. Some of the things that that age group is doing is not liking a candidate for a couple choices, right? So not voting for anybody. Right. Well, do you like your mother all the time?
yeah,
Right? You still got to make your voice heard and make that choice.
yeah,
But you've got to convince them that they're voting on their values, and you're never going to agree with somebody 100%. But that age group, they're our future. They
yeah,
are our future. I mean, they're our future. I can't wait till I am at that point in my life where I can sit back and say, that's our future. I'm so proud that we have this generation leading us,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
They're our future. That's why. I said that with a lot of passion.
As you should. As you should. They are the future.
Yes.
They are the ones that are going to decide. Really, they probably going to be ended up making decisions for us when we're the more older,
well seasoned.
Yes.
well seasoned age. Yes. The well. Then some of us are well. Some of us are well seasoned.
Hey.
I ain't talking about you.
I'm not even going to comment on that.
So I
Yeah.
do have a question.
Yes.
When you're out there spreading the word, what do you find is everybody's concern?
Yeah, the biggest concern is they don't like any candidate. They don't like either candidate.
Yeah.
I mean, it does not shock me when I'm talking to a lady. I'm like, are you making a plan to vote? And they look straight at me and say, no. And I'm like, okay. Well, I just need you to think about values. What are your values? What are you concerned about? I'm not telling you to vote, but I suggest, and I'm hoping to, have a little more literature as I move forward with the GOTV process to give them so that they are able to make an informed decision. I mean, seriously, that is the biggest thing. They're not voting because they do not like either candidate. So mentioning that there's more on the ballot than just those two candidates
Yeah.
and, educating them on how important it is to also be voting for people that are local that are running for during this election makes people start to wonder. And then you know what? You got to follow through. You got to go back. Because they're just going to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to throw this to the side.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the biggest thing. And then, of course, after no vote is the economy, honestly. We find out that a lot of people feel like they got free money and that the economy sucks right now. Gas
Listen.
is too high.
I have to say this on air because people seem to think that we talk about the economy and we look at the government and we be like it's the government's fault the economy's this way. I don't think so. If you know economics, the government plays a part in it, but the majority of the reasons why the economy is this way is because the businesses that operate within that economy make it this way. The rules allow them to operate in this manner. They can jack the prices up because there's no laws that say you cannot jack the prices up. That's why this is why. So I always feel like if you're going to vote for somebody, don't think about the economy because whether a Republican is in office or whether a Democrat is in office, prices are going to continue to go up. That's just what's going to happen. Gas prices are going to continue to go up. That's just what's going to happen. No matter who you vote for, I guarantee you, even back in the day before, the president didn't decide how much a loaf of bread was. That wasn't up that the president didn't make that decision. I know, Biden registered or made drug prices, stabilize. And so they couldn't, that's one thing he implemented. I definitely understand that, but that's not all of the economy. We're talking about everyday things, gas, food, shelter, housing, education, utilities. Where does the government control any of that? My PICO bill doesn't say that Joe Biden. They don't say nothing about Joe Biden on my PICO bill. It says PICO, you owe. This is how much you owe.
Gas bill. Okay.
That's what it says, right?
Yeah.
So
And yeah, I'm with you on that. And that is a great talking point. And I am noting that because that's just one talking point I don't have. So I like that.
I mean,
I love to learn.
It's the I'm not an economist. I'm not one of them people that been in that game for a long time. But I think about it. Like, I don't care who was in office, stuff was still costly. I still was coming out the pocket no matter what. You know what I mean?
Well, businesses have to raise their prices because suppliers are raising their prices.
And what does that have to do with the government?
and none of it really.
Yeah.
None of it. The government has no say so if Wawa wants to raise their price on their 6-inch hoagies.
They don't.
They can't.
They
They have
don't.
no say so.
They don't have any say so. So I mean, I think we have to look at it more from a bird. I always say that sometimes us in the media, and I say us because we're included, right? Sometimes we blind the voter with slogans, and we throw things at them, and we consistently throw things at them, and so their eyes are focused on that when they should be focused on this, and it makes me feel like if we don't, if I hate staying woke, I don't like that word, but if we don't realize that there's some other pieces to our existence, then things would be different. You know what I mean? It's definitely not about whether my landlord doesn't say, well, Joe Biden's in office, so I got to raise your rent. That's not what he says. He don't say that to me, right?
No,
So we just have to look at it from a different angle. And I've always felt like that's something we got to do, really, really, really,
but
really,
we
really.
can we do, and we can organize, when it comes to maybe not so much like the big box stores, but honestly, we could. If we are upset with something, then why don't we help change come?
Yeah,
Why are
yeah,
we not shopping more local? Why
yeah,
are we shopping at these big box stores? Why are we still going to Wawa if they're increasing their prices when you've got a mom and pop store that's making great hoagies down the street, right?
yeah,
It may cost just a little more, but it's not going to continue to go up and up like this right now,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
No.
No, it's
I
true.
mean, if we were to support local more, then it would drive some prices down. It
Yeah,
really would.
it
And
really would. It really would. I think the American way is convenience. And a lot of times that's what we
mm,
pay for is the convenience of everything. Is it close to me? Can I order it online? Okay. You
mhm,
know what I mean? And like you said, supporting local, it has to be a conscious investment to support local.
mhm,
And I even believe that within voting, you have to make a conscious effort to support your local candidates that you support. And I think it's just a critical aspect in terms of just looking at it from a different angle. Voting can be so dry for some people. Yeah, we vote, we vote, we vote, but it has to be something. It has to be more educational and I'm sorry to say this, but and entertaining because a lot of times people get drawn off like they all just say the same thing. Am I right, Ty? And then what they
Yes,
do?
that's true.
They say that all the politicians are the same, no matter what party they're on. All of them are the same. And I think Emily's right because you have to talk about values. What does this person value? What is it that they support? And if you don't support what they support, then don't vote for them. But
mhm.
Emily, let me ask you this: people who don't vote, what do you say to them when they come up to you and talk about you know things that they want to see change, but they haven't voted?
Oh gosh, you're gonna get me in trouble. When they say that, I'm gonna say, baby, I'm gonna pray for you. But yeah, you won't give a. I respect the decision, I do, but I also think, well, okay. I said, but I want you to pay attention to the next, year
Yeah,
and see what your thoughts are coming up because you didn't vote. So you say nothing that happens
Mhm.
matters to you or is going to affect you.
yeah, yeah.
Pay attention, right?
2016, a lot of
Because
people
it's
didn't vote.
closer.
You
Mm,
know that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I know
mm-hmm.
because 2016, a lot of people didn't vote. Oh,
Right.
Barack had spoiled us for 8 years,
8 years,
and I ain't
yes.
gonna say spoiled us because not everybody, agreed with some of his
Nobody.
policies or whatever it was.
Right.
It was a different time, but people not voting. That's the reason why that boy won. That's why he won. People was like,
Oh,
I
and
don't want to
people
vote for
want
Hillary.
honestly, people wanted change. They weren't ready for the woman, and they were not listening to the promises that were made by that certain person because that person followed through
Yeah,
with
he
what
sure did.
what they were saying.
He sure did. This is
So
what I'm gonna do, and that's what he did. Good or bad, whether
yeah,
you like it or not, that's what he did. That's what he
yeah,
did.
yeah. And that's why, going back to the young women, and why that age group, they are value based and they're multi-issue, what's the word? Multi-issue voters. So they are looking at the issues more than they're looking at a political party,
Yeah,
So that's why.
yeah.
That's our future.
I can.
Again, back to our
I definitely
future.
dig it. Let me do a radio
Okay.
ID. You're listening to WPEB Radio 88.1 FM, 95.1 FM, West Philadelphia. Welcome back, family. This is Jimmy Bond's podcast right here on WPEB Radio. We're doing our project, Every Voice, Every Vote, West Philly Voices. We're saying, talking to the lovely Miss Emily Gale Austin, talking to us from her organization, Supermajority, talking about voting and why the women's vote is vital, right? Um, Ty, you heard me say this before, right? I think right now, where the era we're in, women have more power than what we give them credit for, right? And I think sometimes we have to admit that, particularly as a black man, they have more power. And I'm not saying that in a negative connotation or, talking bad about it. I'm saying the facts are that women mobilize and get things done different than men.
Mhm.
And when I think about supermajority and your focus, particularly primarily on women and then women in ages of 18 to 35, like I don't have. Is there supermajority for men? Have you heard of something like that?
I was about to ask that
Is there
question.
one that
No, but supermajority says that thousands of women working together are unstoppable.
I'm just saying? Ain't that what they say? It said what it says. One woman voice, they don't listen. Two women voice, they don't listen. But thousands of women's voices, oh, now they have to listen.
Yeah.
And I think that is where we are right now in terms of just our whole, not just in voting, but our whole society factor is that women are now being more prevalent. There's more CEO, there's more women CEOs. There's more women starting businesses. There's more women doing more things in positions of power than there have been before. And I think having that change of guard, I think is necessary for us to adjust to be a better society, to be more inclusive for everybody. They talk about being inclusive, diversity, inclusion and DEI. I'm just paraphrasing, right? But they talk about the importance of that being, a vital aspect for everybody to have a chance, everybody to have opportunity. But look, man, I'm gonna tell you, bro. Like these women are running the world right now,
Yes.
and like it or not, that's what's going down.
Queen Lady T has something.
Okay, so with your organization being feminine based, do you get a lot of support from males?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, we do. We
okay.
do. We have one of the things, with the majority rules is our what's the word I want? Our gender specific rule, our community rule, we're expansive. So we're not exclusive. We do believe, that building a powerful women's voting bloc is important, but that includes trans women, cisgender women, gender non-binary people, trans men, and we're all truly equal. So we get support from, I think, last night I did a phone bank, let's just say, and I think that I'd say about 15 to 20% were men calling.
Okay.
Because they know women rule.
Hey,
Okay.
yo, if you want to get something done, you
Women
better
are the
talk to some men.
majority.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they are. They're the majority. Period. They're the majority in our community. They're the majority in other communities. So
Nice.
if you want to get something done, you better involve some women. If you're just sitting in the room with a bunch of dudes and that's all it is, you're missing out, bro. I'm just tell you that right now. You need to put some women on the table because they get their time. Am I wrong?
They're gonna call their girlfriend, their wife, or somebody to ask for their opinion on something. Watch.
Oh no, they
Because
do.
you already know.
Oh
You
no, they
already
do.
know.
When we was doing our tasting talk, we do a tasting talk once a month, and we get men and women together, have conversations about relationships. And probably the first few I was looking up, it was nothing but women in the building. I was like,
We had a lot to say.
yeah, no, that's obvious, right? But I'm saying, where the men at? Yeah, we invite men, men don't come. And you would think if you invite women, men would come, right? But we invite the women, and women come, they come in flocks, they come deep. So I don't, if you don't involve them in the conversation, well, you missing out. And that's, that's just what, that's the way I feel about it right now. That's just the way I feel.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you. I mean, I could be wrong, but I know I'm right.
Yeah. I think that, oh, that's great. Yeah. I'm glad that we're finally at a turning point where women are holding positions of power, and it's not just a what's the word I want to look for?
Figurehead.
To look good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not just the figurehead, but they are
The
very
token.
powerful. We're
Yeah.
not the token as much, and they're actually being heard, right? So, T, I'm not sure, what your experience is as being the woman in the room, right? But I
Hold
know
on, hold
for
on.
the
Let's ask her. Let's
Yeah,
ask
longest,
her.
yeah.
Hold on.
Emily, let's ask her that.
Thank
come
you, Miss Emily. Thank,
on.
thanks for bringing that to the table. Let's ask her. So, how do you?
They make me feel very comfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
They let me
But
express
that wasn't
myself.
always the case. Yeah, but that wasn't always the case, right? It took a long time, and maybe I just speak for me, but I know it took a long time, being the token, um, being actually heard, not being the angry Black woman, or when I wanna express my opinion, Supermajority, besides being, an amazing organization for the community and being able to build skills and give tools and educate and empower, and as an organization, they follow, practice what they preach. I have never worked for an organization that feels so strongly about their teams before they even go out to the community. Then making sure that we are taken care of in every way possible,
Yeah.
from equal pay, to time off, to, our benefits, to communication. Um, Supermajority is that organization. I honestly have been around, well seasoned, and this organization is a baby organization, 2019, and growing every year, and doing it well, very well.
How,
And
how,
I
how'd you
wanted to
how'd
go
y'all get
ahead.
500,000 members in 5 years? That's astonishing. That is astonishing. I mean, that's nationwide,
Yeah,
but 500,000 members in 5 years? That's kind of gangster, for real, for
Uh-huh.
real.
we have some very powerful founders, and act on the supermajority. So, our supermajority side, the three founders, they're very powerful, um, very planned out and well thought. And when they came together with our sister organization and founded that with the three activists, traveled around the countryside to talk to women. I think that was in a big pink bus. I think that was and actively listened to what the communities were saying. That was a big piece of it right there,
Yeah,
and have not disappeared since day one.
that's
Very,
crazy.
very strategic on, having the national digital platform, but also strategic in being on the ground first in Michigan, right? And now in
Mm,
Pennsylvania and in Arizona,
mm,
and starting to build a program in North Carolina and
mm.
Georgia, right?
Yeah,
And we'll be on the ground there soon too, right?
yes. All the battlegrounds you
But
just named, all the battlegrounds.
oh, yes, yes, but this has been in the works for a while now, so it's very strategic. And Each member of the organization cares. They care about their job. They care about the community. They care about what's next and how we are going to help increase that women's voting block.
Definitely. Is that what you
And
say?
and it
There's two things. First, Miss Tanya Morris just gave you a shout out. That's my girl.
Miss Tanya in the building.
Um, with supermajority, can someone become a member with supermajority? And if so, are there like perks that come along with that?
Oh, very, very good question. Yes, you can become a member of Supermajority. It is free. All you have to do is go to the website supermajority.com and it will show you. The perks are, there are a lot of trainings for members that are offered. We receive Miss Magazine for free. I just received from Ms. Magazine like a thick, and I have not had time to read it because I'm on the ground organizing right now, but like a big, thick magazine that talks about all the powerful women, right now that are within pretty much the United States. You also get discounts. There's a membership website and it offers all these discounts for women owned businesses. So it's women empowering women all the time, right? And the most important part about being a member in Pennsylvania is, you get to work with me, and we get to empower the community and make change happen.
That's no
So
doubt. 161,000 new voters. That's something to say. Like, phew.
yeah, I mean, we're knocking on doors every Saturday. Actually, every Wednesday night, Thursday night. I'm going to give a shout out to my state organizing associate, Rebecca, who actually is in the heart of Philadelphia. Well, she's home now, thank God, because it's dark out. But she was knocking on doors from 5 to 8 tonight. We'll be knocking on doors tomorrow from 5 to 8, and Saturday from 10 until 3. And we have about 5,000 doors to knock on to reach that goal, to reach as many young women as possible, and sporadic or infrequent voters as possible, to help them make a plan to vote and educate. Are we still there?
That's critical. Yeah. Shout out to Rebecca. Rebecca, if you listen, shout out to you. Doing them door knocks with 5 to 8, 10 to 3.
Yes. Yep, and you can go to Mobilize
people's door.
Mobilize Supermajority, and it's all on there. You can sign up, or you can drop my email, egale at supermajority.com. Email me, and I will send the links to you. We need as many people out there knocking on doors. We have some days of action coming up in the near future on Saturdays, where it's going to be one big party, but we have a lot of groups coming in to knock on doors so that we can talk to as many voters as possible. But the biggest thing is I want the community to empower themselves. So, talking to the community, I would love to see our local community become more involved and see how I can help to empower and educate so that they're making informed decisions, not just for themselves, but for our future. I look at my grandkids, and again, I got to talk about my ancestors. What do we stand on? We stand on the shoulders of our ancestors who fought for
Yeah, we
us.
do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Even though they're trying to change that history, which is
I
what they
couldn't
do
change our
sometimes, but
history.
that is
No.
the truth. No, they can't change it. No, they really can't. See what you gonna say?
And I see it this way: if you can go door to door and ask for
Oh, I can't hear you. You went mute.
your services,
She said if you can go to door and ask for candy on Halloween, you can definitely go door to door and give people voting information and get them more including in the voting initiative. I just think you're right about that, though, too.
Yeah,
I mean, yearly people go to Halloween. Yearly we go out and we get candy,
door to door.
door to door, but we don't do that for voting.
Mm. That's a good idea because that's almost election time too that day.
Yeah.
And people want that's a
What?
thought.
Ring my doorbell. I'm gonna give you some candy and a
And the plan.
pamphlet to
Yeah,
vote.
see, that's what I'm gonna do too.
Jot that down too, right?
Seriously,
Yeah.
yep, jot that down too.
I'll be dropping these off at your radio station,
Yeah,
and y'all can at Supermajority say, "Here we go, Halloween candy and the plan to vote."
you
Right?
see, I'd be the wrong one. Everyone came to my door knocking on the door. I got some candy for you. Yeah, come on in here. Let me talk to you about it. Here's some candy and here's some voter information. There you go. The
Here's
two
a
and two.
toothbrush.
The two right. Well, they go hand in hand.
And the
What is this?
toothbrush.
What is this? This is for you to read. Take it to your mama. Tell your mama about it, okay?
Mhm.
But I mean, that's a
But
great
what are
question.
we doing? That is very good. If they can do that, why not? Why not? Even if it's just 10 doors, imagine if 10 people knocked on 10 doors, and then out of that, you got a person to knock on 10 doors. You're actually doing relational organizing because you're probably knocking on doors of people that you know in
Yeah,
that instance,
yeah,
but you're still building it
Putting the
out and
word.
tripling it. Yep.
yeah, yeah. That's real. Ty, what you got, man?
Yes. Miss Emily, how did you
Yes.
get started at Supermajority?
How did I get started at Supermajority?
Yeah.
You know what? I was looking for a job.
Just call it
Yeah,
like it
no,
is. Call it like it
just
is.
I'm gonna call. Actually, I'll be honest. I was let go from my other job, which was an organizing job. Um, and I was doing the same type of work, democracy work, getting the vote out in a different vein. And it doesn't always work out the way you think it's going to. And so I was let go. So I took some time off, and I was able to take some time off and relax. And then when it was time, I just started looking, and this popped up, and I started researching. This is actually the only job that I had applied for, right? And um, I just kept reading about this women's organization, values based. How does this not like how does this not my life? How is this not perfect? How how is this not it? Right? And so I applied, and in my interview, I really got along with, like, my first interview, really got along with the people that I was talking to, and I'm just like, wow, I'm home. I'm home, you know. Um, I'm telling you, it is not an organization like I've ever worked for. Um, I'm not saying we're perfect, right? Because we all have our challenges, especially during GOTV time. Everybody's stressed beyond belief wanting to get that vote out. But I just happen, I'll tell you what, there are no accidents, there are no mistakes. Um, but the stars aligned and the universe aligned for me to be able to be in this position and be able to apply for this position and be able to start to build the program here in Pennsylvania, because this program isn't going anywhere. And I'm glad to be able to be that connecting piece.
Yeah, that's real. That's
Yeah.
real. How did
I
you get
mean,
started?
civic engagement isn't going anywhere. So, what I did in my other job was the same kind of thing. And I'll tell you, that they're continuing what was started, but building upon it, right? And that's all that it is you build upon it. You want me to tell you a quick story? I don't
Yeah, I
even know
love
what
it. I would
time it
love
is.
one. Yeah, yeah.
All right. 2008. Now that's going to tell you that I'm a little well seasoned. 2008 here in Williamsport, I ran for the mayor. Okay.
Oh,
Um, Yeah, I hadn't been in Williamsport that long at that point, but what I found was I was so tired of listening to people complaining about this mayor. And here in Williamsport, there are no term limits, right?
Mm,
So he kept running and winning, but nobody was running against him.
mhm.
And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it because y'all are complaining about it, but nobody's doing anything about it. So as soon as I started to say I was going to run, um, feedback from everyone, don't do it. You didn't run for city council. You didn't do this. You need to follow the guidelines that are provided. No, I don't. And like, you're going to lose. I'm not going to lose. So bottom line of this story is there were two reasons. Of course, I want to win. You always want to win when you're
Right,
campaigning.
right.
I'm not saying I was perfect. I didn't do anything I probably should have done the right way, but I had another goal. Besides winning the election, it was changing the mindsets of people. And let me tell you, it did, whether these people want to admit it or not. It changed the mindset of who was running for office here in Williamsport, right? The younger generation, because I lost, but I only lost by a very small percentage. And all of a sudden, you hear people saying, "Oh my God, this person who we don't know who she is, she didn't do it the right way, and she almost beat him. I can beat him, right?" And so now a younger generation had started to run. Well, this was years ago, but still, the younger generation is now taking over city council seats. We do have our first Black mayor. It's a young man who said such mean things about me when I was running, but I don't care. I support him anyway. You know how it goes. But yeah, so it did change that mindset, and we do have younger generation. I did that.
Damn.
You
Did
know,
you have
and
a
I
campaign
and I
slogan?
Yeah, did you have a
huh?
campaign slogan?
Oh gosh. No. I don't remember. I have my postcards and stuff upstairs, but I kind of put that out of my mind for a while.
If you want to be free, vote for Emily.
Vote for me.
Hey.
Nah, if I were to run again, it would just be the queen, the vote. And if I
Queen
could
vote.
get that on the yeah, if I could get that on the ballot, people would know.
That's real. That's real. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
But
that's
it's the
no. Go ahead. What you gonna
yeah.
say?
No, it's just about changing those mindsets, right?
Yeah.
And it's a trickle down effect. So back to, that connector piece and being behind the scenes. Like me bragging about that is not something that you guys are like maybe the second, third group that I've actually really talked about, changing that mindset. And even though I lost that election, I won what my back thoughts were. And I have it written down, you
Yeah.
know that was part of my plan to change the mindset and have people step up, right?
Yeah.
Um, so
Even if you don't win, you're still making an impact.
Right.
You're still changing
yeah,
perception. You're
and
still
it's not yes, perception, yes, and it's not
you're hitting
about
on. I'm
me.
sorry. Go ahead. He said it's not about
Go
you.
ahead. No, it's not about me. I'm not here forever. It can't be about me. It's about what are we leaving for those who are going to be living beyond us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what are they doing to improve their lives, right? Now,
It's
I did learn that from my mom.
it's true though.
Yeah.
It's true because the older generation, that's what's for it. Not about us no more. It's about them. What are we leaving for them?
Hmm.
What
Yeah.
what are some of the concerns you hear on the ground? Is any of the concerns have to do with the environment and climate change and things of that nature?
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
the
yeah.
younger folks are heavy into that, right?
They are. And that's funny you mentioned that because that's where my job was in before this one, which,
Going
I
green.
support fully. Yeah, I support fully. And isn't that funny that you mentioned that because there is one candidate that fully supports fracking. in Pennsylvania, right?
Mhm.
And this is a candidate that aligns with some of my values, right? But I don't agree with that one.
Yeah. Let me do this one. Because do you know what fracking is?
Break it down.
Do you know what fracking is, sir?
Break it down for me, bro.
Well, I'm just going to let Emily talk. I'm gonna come back with this
No,
fracking.
I'm not breaking fracking down. I'm
I'm
not
in
in.
trouble.
There's a reason why part of the reason why I don't understand all the environmental aspect of things. I understand, advocating for environmental policy, but I'm not a scientist, so I don't understand it all.
Yeah,
So what else
I
do you want
don't.
me to
I
talk
don't
about?
think anybody understands it. I think people just say that they're fracking or they're fracking because they've heard about it, but I don't think they really know what it is.
Oh, you mean
And
like tariffs?
yeah, like I mean,
Yes.
Go, Emily, go.
Oh, that just popped out.
it's true though. Do they know what tariffs are? Do they know how it affects us? No. Uh, okay, so real quick. All right, so tariffs. I don't have the Webster definition right, but tariffs are what we charge other countries to have their goods come in. Okay, if you're going to charge international companies for the goods that are coming in, who pays for that? You think the companies bringing it over pays for it? No,
People pay for that.
the consumer pays
Yeah.
for it. So if you support tariffs, you support and spending more money. That's just what I think. That's just my thought pattern. If you that's what you support, then you go ahead, pay more money on the things that you want to pay for. And then they say everything needs to be American made. If it's not American made, then I don't want to put my money into it. If you really knew that American made products cost more, okay? It costs more to make more. That's why things are imported from China, because it does not cost that much in China to make it, or India, or Bangladesh, or any of these other countries, or Pakistan, where products are made. Right? They
Mm.
even labor, our companies here in America ship over there. That's why when you're on the phone and you're talking to somebody and it doesn't sound like somebody that's local, because they're not local. That company that's on your cell phone has outsourced their customer service to another country. Okay. So all this American made and tariffs, and we support tariffs, American made, and power to the USA, that just means it's gonna cost you more money. All right.
So is it wrong for me to get upset when I'm trying to get a situation fixed over the phone and I get an Indian person on the other line?
Is it wrong to get upset?
Yeah.
You're right to get upset about whatever you want to get upset about. If you're frustrated because of that, this is what the American companies have decided to do.
Yeah.
I'll put it to you this way. I'll give it to you one better. The American business does not care about the consumer. And until we understand that, we're not going to get any further. The American business, now I'm not saying small business, I'm not saying local business, I'm saying big products, care about the bottom line. And if they can save some money some way, that's how they're going to do it. That's why the stock market is sky high right now. So people, if you invested it right now, you're great. Now I'm going to bring this back to voting. Okay. I know that I'm talking more about just economic things of that nature, understanding, but they mention tariffs when it comes to voting. I'm going to vote for someone because they support tariffs. I'm going to vote for someone because they support made in the USA. Now, I'm not saying that things shouldn't be made here. I'm saying that they're already outsourced. So we're paying for it. No matter which way you think, we're paying for it. That's just it. So your vote has to align with your values, right, Emily? You have to have those that has to align with your values. And if your values are I want to pay more money, go ahead and do it. I'm who am I to judge? See if you're looking at me like you gonna say something too?
I would like to say something, but I know I'm gonna get in trouble for it.
Really?
So I'm gonna walk away.
Okay, you gonna walk away?
far, far away.
I think the audience might want to hear what you had to say, but I'm just going to say that. Okay, I got you. Emily, can you tell our listeners and the people watching where they can go to get more information about Supermajority and even about you, because you have a bio on the page.
Yes.
I can go see a nice picture of Emily sitting there smiling, and she has a nice bio. Like she you can
Thank
tell she's a part of the team. Major.
Yeah, so you can get more information at supermajority.com. And you can read all about us. There's our majority rules are on there. There's a beautiful video that empowers and excites people on Supermajority. And on our sister organization has all of our research on it. And that's the Supermajority Education Fund. I think it's supermajorityed.com. Let me look that one up quick. My computer's not allowing me to look it up, but Supermajority Education Fund has all our research on it and what we've done and where we come up with our information as to why young women voters, right? And more. Also with Supermajority Education Fund, that is where we host our Majority Leaders, which is a deep conversation training program that trains a group of people over a set period of time, not just like for canvassing, but to go into communities, into their own communities, and have deeper conversations instead of like, are you making a plan to vote? Tell me why. Tell me more about how you feel, and have those conversations. And we'll be doing more of that after the election is over, going back to our majority leaders. Our majority leaders now, especially in Philadelphia, are going to be leading canvassers that are green canvassers, new canvassers, into learning how to canvass and not be afraid to talk to people about the upcoming election. So supermajority.com. You can become a member. If you become a member, it will go directly into my data bank, especially in Pennsylvania, and we'll reach out to you. And also Mobilize. Mobilize is Mobilize on Mobilize, which is a basically a platform that people can take action on. Go to Supermajority, look for Supermajority Pennsylvania, and you can see our upcoming actions on that. Again, tomorrow night we have a phone bank from 6:30 to 8:30 that's on there. Please join. We'll be calling people in Pennsylvania, talking to them about what their plan is to vote. And then tomorrow night we also canvass and knock on doors from 5 to 8.
Yeah.
And then Saturdays we knock on doors as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe sincerely that the real work starts after November the 5th. That's when the real work starts.
My slogan. I think you. I don't know. I don't know. That's my slogan.
I wasn't trying to say your thunder, but that's just what I sincerely believe. If after November the 5th, that's when the real work gets started. After January, I'm not going to say when the inauguration day is, but when everybody's sworn in and everybody gets in the office, that's when the real work happens. Different. It doesn't. This is just as important as leading up to November the 5th. But after that time is when if you thought it was rough before the election, it gets harder after that, because then it's more about mobilizing. It's more about now you can focus on the issues instead of the candidates or the ballot or any of that nature. So, after November the 5th, people just remember, like, keep your eyes open. If you one of them people out there that's like, I'm just not voting because I don't like the candidates, as Emily said, there are 4 candidates on the ballot. I think we went through them last time, right? There's Kamala, there's VP Kamala Harris. right? There is
Trump.
DT.
DT, Donald Trump. There is
The green person.
the Green Party, Stein. Is that her name? Stein. She operates the Green Party.
Lady T is right. We only mentioned three.
Yeah.
Want to mention three? We mentioned the Libertarian. We didn't talk about him. No, really.
Because I was all for the green person.
Mhm.
Save the planet.
Hey, if you guys are gonna start to talk candidates, though, I probably, I probably should go, right? No, but listen.
No. It's really we're not even talking about candidates. We're talking about that there's more on the ballot than
There's
what.
more on the ballot, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it's more on the ballot because I think we're so two-sided. Democracy is really a multi-party thing. It's not two parties, it's multi-parties. And other parties
That is
don't
true.
get the same recognition that Democrats and Republicans get. So a lot of times they're in the background with some of their values, Emily, some of their values may align more with what your values are. You might
Right.
like what Jill Stein has to say. You might think that's a great
Right.
what her platform is supports what you support, right? Or when even
Right.
Donald Trump or Vice President Harris, you might feel like someone on that ballot aligns more with you. So when you get the response of, I don't like any of the candidates, then I think we have to educate ourselves to know that there are more candidates. There's more people out there running. There's more parties you can support. I always identify as not either or, just an independent voter who likes to use my mind to see who aligns with what I believe in. And that's really what I think voting is, right?
Yeah. I think the hardest part about being an independent voter right now is not being able to vote in the primary, and it really affects Philadelphia and Pittsburgh
It
because a
does.
lot of your local elections are determined in the primary.
Yeah. Because if you're a
Uh,
Democrat in Philly and you win, it's more if you win the primary, it's more likely you're gonna win the seat. So
yeah,
across the board.
yeah.
So probably same thing in
But
Pittsburgh.
you're
I'm not familiar with Pittsburgh's voting habits.
it's the same. It's the same kind of thing. But you are right. There are more than just two candidates, even when it comes to the president, and everybody needs to be made aware that there are options.
Yeah,
You
and I
know,
think that's what supermajority is aiming for. It's not just about getting the vote out and getting people registered. It's about educating them and informing them of what else there is out there. Because if you don't know, we're all ignorant to it. We don't know. We don't know. And I think the more we know, the better for not just our community, but everybody that's involved. Because you don't have. It's not two choices. It's not either steak or chicken. There's steak, chicken, salmon, crabs, lobster, whatever you prefer. That's all that's out there. I didn't mean to equate that to food. I'm just hungry right now, so
Can I
I'm
ask
just
a
saying.
all right. Well, here's the thing. 20, like you said. The work begins the day after the election, and that's when we need to learn how to follow our issues, right,
Mhm,
on a local
mhm,
level. Like,
mhm.
because you see, let's say, example, and this is not a true legislative thing, but let's say SB 1522. They'll talk about that in the news and say, so SB 22 passed, 1522 passed. What the hell does that mean, right? So what? How does that affect me? And
No
that's the
clue.
response they want,
Yeah,
right? So it's getting those trackers, and that's what we're gonna do, track, specific pieces of legislation locally up to the federal level, and
yeah,
continue to watch and educate the public on what's going on so they have an informed decision and are able to, go to maybe protest up at DC, or talk to our state representatives up in Harrisburg,
yeah,
or go visit your local state rep at their office, and things like that, so they get to know you in your face and know that you're going to be there and you're not going away. So you need
yeah.
to listen because you work for us. We're
Can,
paying you.
and you saying something there, right? Because I'm gonna say this. I feel like when they pass these laws should be voted on, not by
Mm,
the people in Congress, whether it's your state or federal. It should be voted on by the people, right? So when abortion comes up, it should you want to pass a law for abortion, let the people decide, not one individual decide
mm,
on that issue. Am I making
mm.
sense?
I
You
get
get
that.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know
I
I'm
get it.
probably throwing up some kind of flare for people out there, but I'm saying that we should actually look at it more from, like you said, they work for us, right? So if they work for us, why can't we choose how they
Things
vote?
should go. Yeah.
Why can't we decide that if you're going, if every 4 or 2 years there's a new election, won't you just put those things on the ballot too? Okay, I can vote for John Smith and Cindy, right? But on the other side, abortion, education, healthcare, childcare,
Middle class.
middle, all those things should be not candidates, but those items, my issues should be on the ballot. And call me crazy or call me far fetched, but that's just what I think.
Why can't you
No,
just
and you know
vote
what?
on it?
Yeah. Here's social pressure where that would be like, okay, I'm going to take this from my past job, a scorecard. Why do communities not have local community scorecards? Now, in my other job, in my with that organization, they have a scorecard. And let me tell you that the legislators take that scorecard seriously.
Yeah,
They're either on it and they're scoring high because they will talk about it to me to this day. Oh, I am on the scorecard. I'm so glad that I'm not agreeing with everything environmental, but I have this and this and this on the scorecard. So why are we not doing that within our communities on a local level?
yeah.
And as I talking, and if my organization is listening, let's write that down for maybe 2025. Okay. Anybody listening from Supermajority? Scorecard.
I'm telling you, scorecards, and it should,
Yeah.
because when you go to a job, right, and they come up from your review, and they do a
Oh,
review for you to dictate, if you're gonna get a raise or not, or you're gonna stay where you are. They're doing a scorecard, so we should be able to do the same thing. If you work for us, and each year you're in the office, I don't care if your term is 2 or 4 years, we should be able to say, hey, I give you an 88, or yours is below passing. You got a 56.
hmm
Like this stuff we
here.
understand, right?
Yeah. So at the beginning, like right before, after the election, your community or, your community or your organization, I would love to see this in a community. Here are our issues. And right now, there is no score, but we are going to be scoring you all the way through. And we
Yes.
are going to make a public record so people
Yes.
can see, our score based on what you are doing to represent us.
Yes.
Huh. Represent us because we chose you,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That's
and
real. That's real.
that's real.
And I mean, and
And
like you
that's
said,
real.
make it a public thing. You said make it a public thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
if come election time, when you want to get your seat back, we just pull up your scorecard. How did you do?
Mm.
You ain't do too good. Yeah, you're not doing the greatest. Or better yet, you did fantastic. I guess you did, stick to what you was gonna say. It wasn't just campaign jargon. That's what it was. It was
Right.
really you getting in
Right.
your seat and you did your job. So
Okay.
Right.
Can I ask a
Because then,
question?
yeah, sure.
Emily,
Yes.
if you had the opportunity, would you run again?
Dun, 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 dun.
yeah, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll.
Just saying.
I'm thinking about it. Not for
Ooh,
not for mayor though. I think that our
Okay.
mayor is doing an all right job, learning as he goes. But I
Mhm.
do believe that our here, especially in Williamsport, our city council does not represent us. And I don't feel as if our community is aware of what is actually going on at that level. And I
yeah.
feel like there needs to be representation. So, oh God, this might get me in trouble. I was talking to some of my friends. I said, why don't we just do a coup? 5 of us run. We're all bound to get in.
Right?
You know, take it
Yeah.
over. Let's coup.
Yeah.
Let's do a
I
coup.
support it.
Listen, they say cool now. Everyone's like, oh no, what are they talking about? But yeah,
Hey,
that's real.
I
That's
support
real.
it.
Yeah.
That's real. Well, Miss Emily, listen,
I'm-
you have joined us tonight, shared a wealth of information.
Yes.
You know, remember when we had our talk yesterday with Elise, and she was like, "Well, how long is the interview going to be for, Jimmy?" I was like, "Oh, it's going to be about an hour." You
Yeah,
know.
all right.
And you have definitely surpassed, and we greatly appreciate you staying on with us. This is why I love
Yes.
this kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
I
You can't
love
keep
it.
track of time. You're like, yo, good. What?
You were
What?
right too. You were gonna say David. What? I was so honored. I would love to come back. I would love to have you guys out on the street with me. I don't know if you do that kind of thing, but I mean, you guys have such an amazing platform, and it needs to reach more people.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Don't tickle my
I
fancy
think
over
that
here.
no, but I'm serious. What you guys are doing is amazing, and it just needs to reach more people. Keep doing this, and let me know. Please let me know how I can amplify and push it out there, and connect. You guys are doing what I have always wanted to do. You're my dream. You're my dream. You guys are
Oh,
amazing.
that's what's good. That's what's
I am
good.
not lying. This is
No,
amazing. You guys are amazing.
we know you're not lying, and we appreciate it. You know, we as a team, I always tell the team like we work so well together. You know, I believe in the heavens and the gods, and I think God done brought this team together and was like, yeah, this is what y'all gonna do, okay? Just do it. And you know, we've been at this for a minute now. As a matter of
Yes.
fact, T has been here a year now. I can definitely say that. Probably about that time, right?
Yeah.
September, October, right?
Yeah.
And me and
Okay.
Ty have been rocking since 2020. And
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
we have developed this ensemble of voices, voices, every voice, every vote, right?
Right.
We developed this ensemble of
Yes.
voices, and I think that we all bring something great to the table, which makes us, which gives us the platform that we have, and we're so thankful to have it. We're thankful for all the listeners that listen to us weekly. We're thankful for the people that text us all the time and send us messages and emails and all that, and they just really enjoy the content we create. And you know, for me, it's always a blessing because we get to do what we love. I love this.
Yes,
I love this.
exactly.
This is my
Yeah.
happy place, my happy space. You know what I mean? So you know, somebody to tell you like he's the happiest when he's on the radio in front of a microphone. Yeah, I am. This is my happiest place.
I can tell you love what you do. Do what you love and love what you do, right?
Yeah, for
And
sure.
and that's why I'm still doing grassroots organizing. Do what you love what you do. I wouldn't change it for the world. You know,
That's the
tomorrow I
truth.
may not be smiling because I'm tired,
Yeah,
but
but
you know,
but
but
is that what they chanting for?
Yes.
That's Emily, Emily,
oh God.
Emily.
Give me my side. I need my side on my t-shirt. Please make sure you
Exactly.
get it for me. But Emily, again, I want to thank you and Supermajority just for coming on and sharing your information with the public and you know, our people that listen to us. And this has been enlightening for I think all of us, because there are organizations out here that are focused on voting and voting initiatives. Um, I don't see a lot of them generally focused on the power of women and what women can do when they come together. Individually, women are powerful, but collectively, you got a monster on your hands.
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable. So
Unstoppable.
unstoppable force. But you know, I think it's just one of them things. Like I appreciate what your organization does. I appreciate the work you're doing in Pennsylvania, what you're doing on both coasts and in the middle of both coasts, on both sides of the state and in the middle. And it's, you know, we need to realize that Pennsylvania is probably going to be the state that determines the presidential election. You know, I
Yeah.
think we need to realize that if it wasn't for Philadelphia, family, if it wasn't for Philadelphia, Joe Biden might not be in office. I know that sound kind of seems kind of small, but Philadelphia, Pennsylvania put him in office. And they know it because they're always here. They understand the power of
Yes.
this city. They understand the power of the voices that we have in this city. And they know that this city holds a lot. It's the birthplace of independence, right? So this is where we have to realize that not just the history we hold, but the power we hold are in our voices and in the vote that we gonna push on November the 5th. So Ty, anything you want to say to Emily before I let her go, man?
Miss Emily, thank you for the knowledge and information you shared with us this evening. I will support you 100% when you run again. Just let me know. Okay.
Yes.
And thank you.
Thank you, Ty.
All right, for the rest of the week, I'm gonna wear pink. Okay.
And take a picture and put I don't know if you're Facebook, Instagram, but find Supermajority and add Supermajority. We will lift you up, lift your radio station up. We did today as much as we could, before this, and I will be
Yes.
lifting it up, of course, afterwards.
Yes.
Yes, wear pink tie. I'm going to try to find you. Trust and believe. We need to do some coffee.
No,
We need to
you
do
know,
coffee.
T's a fashionista. She'll be in her
T.
closet this
Oh, I
tomorrow.
got
Like,
pink.
let me pull this pink out. Let me pull
Yes,
this
I got
pink
some
out.
pink.
I just need some pink. I
You
like
got some
pink. You know,
pink?
pink on
I'm
my
gonna drop.
complexion looks great.
Listen, I'm going to drop you guys off some buttons. I've
Ooh.
got
Yes.
some placards. We are the supermajority. Got what's your plan to vote? Trust and believe. Y'all be
Yeah.
decked out in supermajority swag.
Yeah, well, you see, I got a 9-year-old. She can read, and for me, it's always important for me to give her information she didn't know about. We see things on the news, and we call certain people names, and we shouldn't, but we find it funny. But educating her about voting and why voting is important, I think is key. That starts with them. If they know more about, like the 10-year-old you had on your call recently, if they know more about it sooner, they'll be more ready for it when they turn 18 and they're ready to vote. So
Yeah, and and start ingraining in her head, our majority rules.
yeah,
I've got these little cards she can read. She can carry it with her. I'm bringing
yeah,
some.
yeah. Please
They're
do,
pink.
please
They
do.
have our majority rules on them. Yes.
Yeah, please do.
Yes.
She'll love it. She'll love it. But family, I'm gonna let Miss Emily go. From me, I want to thank you for joining us tonight and bringing your input, your expertise, your knowledge, your experience, all the things that you know about voting, but not just voting, the overall understanding of the people that you're working with and relationships you're building when you're in these communities. And these communities are what these are our communities that we live in, reside in, work in, exist in. And in some way, shape, or form, we always think the relationship is what we survive on. Having good relationships is what keeps us going. So you keep doing your thing, Emily. Supermajority, keep doing your thing. Keep getting out there. Keep pushing. Keep doing it. 5 years strong. 500,000 members. It's to be commended. It's yes. Do that. Go ahead. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay. Tell
Let's
Ty
go,
that
Queen.
he has to be. We got this. We the queen. You guys are telling me how. You guys are feeding the Leo part of me. Come on, bring it.
Oh, she a Leo too.
I'm running
she a
now.
Leo too.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of Leos. We gotta keep feeding them. I'm telling you, next time she's gonna be out there, we're gonna be like, "See, told you." But Emily, thank you so much. Greatly
Thank
appreciate you.
you.
Please give a shout out to all your team, all your team members in Pennsylvania. Definitely shout out to Elise for bringing us together the way she did.
Thank you.
The flyer looks amazing. I'm just thankful to be able to talk to you about this tonight. So thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. We greatly appreciate you. Before you go, what do you want to say to the people?
What do I want to say to the people? What's your plan to vote?
Yeah.
Seriously, what is your plan to vote? Look at our majority rules, supermajority.com. Think about your issues and compare them to our rules. Young women, start making your plan to vote. You are our future. We need you.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Emily, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for joining us and staying on with us as long as you did. We appreciate you. Definitely. Shout out to you all the way from here from West Philly. Shout out to Emily and Supermajority. Have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All
All
right.
right. We'll see you.
Let's
Thank
go.
you.
The queen.
So, family, that's gonna wrap the show. You know how we do.
Yes.
You know how we do. It's gonna wrap the show. It's always dope to have people with that experience on.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? How you feel, Ty?
I feel great.
You feel great?
Yeah, when I first met Emily, it was at a catering job, and she was pretty much there organizing everything.
Okay.
She hadn't, so being a lead director, she was doing that.
She's doing her thing.
Yeah, she was doing it.
She's doing her thing. Shout out to Miss Tanya.
Yeah.
Mom your business. Tanya Morris is a very big supporter of us and what we do. Definitely, she is an adamant supporter of Major Flavor Catering. I don't think she wants to eat anybody else's food in this city, but I definitely know that this is what this is what it's about.
Right.
It's about working in our community, connecting with people in our community, and involving them to expose what it is that they do to more people. So, I always say I'm thankful for the platform we have. I'm thankful for these microphones we sit behind. I'm thankful for the information we're able to provide, whether we're crazy or we're wrong or we're right. I love this. You know what I'm saying? I love what we do. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm feeling it. All right, but see, anything you want to say before we go?
Please go out and vote. Do your homework. Just go out and vote.
That's it. Ty?
Pull the lever. Send in your mail-in ballot.
Really? Just pull the lever. That's it?
Yeah.
Pull
Do
the
they still
lever.
pull levers?
Nah, it's just a button now.
Yeah,
It's all electronic, really.
Ooh.
Where?
I just mail mine in.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm about to ask questions.
I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna keep that to myself.
Okay. Then I understand the reason why he said pull the lever. Because he melds his in.
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. Yep. That right there.
But family, as always, we thank y'all for listening to us each and every week right here on WPEB Radio, 88.1 FM, 95.1 FM, West Philadelphia. You can always call us with your comments and your questions at 215-472-0881. Again, that's 215-472-0881. You can email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. It's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. So until the next episode, you can find us on Good Hope Road. Screaming, stay up, don't sleep in your dreams. And please, remember, call somebody. Somebody you talked to recently, somebody you ain't talked to in a long time. Call them and tell them that you love them because you never know when you might get another chance. My sister T, my brother Ty, I'm Jimmy Bonds. We out. Peace. Dizzo!
Funny. Ooh.
Oh, I'm back.
What you gonna say? Hold on, let me get it wrong. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You hear me? I can hear you. Well, we're off air now. We're off air now. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you.
I forgot to give a shout out to Ty and his catering, and that I have another job coming up that I need him for.
Sounds like
So I'll call you.
Okay.
You hear that, Ty?
Yeah.
I'm trying not to do last minute, but it's kind of last minute.
I'll be right back.
No, Emily, this has been great. We will definitely connect again, in whatever capacity we can help out. We'll be doing I'm working on a project right now, as a matter of fact, to do I guess I want to say celebration to the project we're doing, and we're going to be inviting people out to an event. It's going to be called Every Voice, Every Vote, and it's going to be at a place called the Painted Bride. It's a pretty big space, and people come out. We're going to have just an open discussion about voting, younger voting, community, how the voting affects the community, what issues are affecting the community. And it's just really to commemorate just the project we've done over the last 8 weeks, or by that point, it'll be 8 weeks. So I definitely will, when that's up and running, I'll make sure I send you that email, text you the information. If you want to send if you want to send one of your reps out, you can. If you want to come yourself, you can. If you want to send a whole team, I don't care. We're going to do it because we just want to make sure we bring the community together right before November the 5th. So it'll be in the end of October, or no, middle of October actually. So I'll keep you posted on that. But yes, please, by all means, let's stay connected. Let's reach out. If you need something for us to talk about, you have something coming up, you want to let the public know about it, we'll do a PSA on the air for it, whatever it may be, just let us know.
Okay. And I have really one quick question. What are you guys doing like that Monday and Tuesday of the election? Anything? Anything special? How are you getting
Mm-mm.
people to the polls? Just reminding them?
Pretty much.
Because yeah,
Pretty
that's
much.
the piece that if I fear the most. But okay, I will do that. And you will probably be so sick of hearing from me,
Let's
but I
go.
appreciate you.
Nah,
I appreciate you.
it's all good, Emily. You reach out anytime that you need, whatever you need. If we
All
can
right.
do it, we will. If we can do it, we certainly
All
will.
right.
All right.
And same. Okay.
Definitely.
All right.
Definitely. I hear you.
All
Have a
right.
great evening. Okay.
Thanks. You
All right.
too.
Bye now.
We'll see ya.
Stay.